Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Tornadoes. This is CTN, a Clearwater Digital Media production. Today is Tuesday, October 29th, National Cat Day. My name is Payson Evans. Today we have your latest school, local, and national news. So stay tuned because CTN starts now. In your headline news, the leader of ISIS has been killed. This raid was years in the making, gathering intelligence, preparing for the attack, President Donald Trump says. He says it's also the most significant death of a terror group leader since Osama bin Laden. On Saturday, al-Baghdadi detonated his suicide vest in a dead-end tunnel after being cornered by elite U.S. forces in a Syrian compound. Trump says he's been under surveillance for weeks, and the raid involved sending 8 helicopters of troops towards al-Baghdadi's compound. Members of the Trump administration watched the raid unfold but did not say much, not even telling key Democratic leaders. Regardless, they agree with the president, saying al-Baghdadi's death is a major moment in the war on terror. The killing of al-Baghdadi by U.S. forces leaves ISIS without an obvious leader, a major setback for an organization that in March was forced by American troops and Kurdish forces out of the last portion of its self-declared caliphate, which once spanned a swath of Iraq and Syria. In your local news, a Pinellas Park police officer said he was just doing his job when he carried an elderly man out of a burning house to safety late last week. The fire occurred around 4 a.m. on Friday, October 25th in the 4300 block of 70th Avenue North. Neighbors called 911 when they saw smoke coming out of the house. Quote, "I saw smoke pouring out of the front and blowing up in the sky," said Gene Robbins, who lives next door. Pinellas Park police officer Jeffrey DeTrano happened to be patrolling nearby and saw all the commotion when he arrived. He looked through a back door and saw Christopher Jones, 73, crouched down inside. Quote, "The room he was in wasn't actually on fire, but it was coming that way, so I went in," DeTrano said, speaking to assembled media on Monday. Quote, "I picked him up and he wasn't able to walk at the time, so I kind of dragged him out."
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I still have a dream.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Hi, I'm Jesus Valencia with This Day in History. Today marks the 90th anniversary of the start of the Great Depression. The stock market crashed on October 29, 1929, dropping 16 million shares and launching the country into one of its most difficult decades. Stock prices began declining around September 4th and finally crashed on October 29th, also known as Black Tuesday. During the next 3 years, President Hoover would repeatedly assure the people of the United States the Depression would solve itself. However, it would only get worse. To make matters worse, the Dust Bowl, a drought that ran roughly from 1930 to 1936, made crop growing difficult and food prices extremely high. Things finally looked up with the election of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1933. You may know his famous quote, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," from his inaugural address, giving the country a sense of optimism in such a difficult time. Through the remainder of his 3-term presidency, Roosevelt would go on to help pull the United States out from the economic depression through the introduction of many programs and institutions known as the New Deal, and finally ending in the start of the Second World War. Thank you for listening. Now to Jaden with your school news.
I'm Jaden Anselm with your school news. Strength and conditioning for any student athletes interested in baseball will begin on Monday, November 11th. All paperwork must be completed. Please see Coach Banks in G3 for any questions. Any students interested in cheerleading for the basketball season? Tryouts are from November 5th through the 7th in the gym. All athletic paperwork must be complete before trying out. There are only 5 spots available. If you have any questions, please see Miss Katz in F8. Any students interested in the reading initiative to see Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker on Friday, December 20th, please read 2 books by December 13th and pass the reading counts test. Also, your name will be entered into a drawing to win more prizes. Mu Alpha Theta will be having a meeting after school in room D7. Remember, students, you have to be in dress code this Thursday on Halloween. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Jaden. And finally, a Tampa man allegedly threw a pair of nunchucks through the rear window of a vehicle in a road rage incident over the weekend. According to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, the incident occurred on Saturday near the intersection of West Linebaugh Avenue and Sheldon Road shortly before noon. The victim told deputies that Leonardo Fernandez, 56, cut him off while driving on West Linebaugh. The victim later pulled up next to Fernandez and gestured at him to put his phone down, since he believed Fernandez was texting and driving at the same time. At that point, the victim said Fernandez became enraged and began driving recklessly before the 2 vehicles were stopped at a traffic light. It was then that Fernandez got out of his vehicle with the nunchucks and threw them at the victim's vehicle, shattering the rear window. If any students or teachers would like to have an announcement made on our show, please have your club sponsor or coach email us at cdmptv@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at CDMP Digital TV for a look back at some of this year's broadcasts. Check out the CDMP Clear Light running all day for new announcements. Thank you for watching CTN and have a great Tornado Day.